So much to say and catch you up all up on our local real estate market, Boise, Idaho, County, Canyon County real estate here in Boise. What's going on in the nation and going on in the world is affecting us. I just had a meeting with, oh gosh, I'm going to mess up his name, but his first name is Logan. He's the head economist with Housing Wire. And he said that Boise's real estate market is tracking with the nation's market. So sometimes we want to see what's happening locally versus what's happening nationally. The only two markets that are not tracking with the nation's market is Texas and Florida. They're having a little bit worse market than we are all having. Right here in Boise, Idaho, we're still in a seller's market. It's just a really sensitive seller's market where we are seeing some inventory increases. So that's really good for buyers because we were so tight, such a tight seller's market for so long. We're still a seller's market under 1.5 million, but there's a few hundred more options when we look at March 2025 versus March 2024. So that's really good news for the buyers. You know, there's some job, you know, we're seeing some headlines on more job openings, less job openings, better job market, worse job market. So there's really some uncertainty about jobs right now. Construction jobs lead our real estate market changes. We are seeing less construction jobs layoffs, less job openings in construction. Does that mean we're going to see a shift in our market downwards? It could. It's all dependent on if we see an increase in unemployment. That could cause people to list their home that weren't planning on listing. Like when we go through death and divorce or job loss, like major life happenings, we usually sell because it helps us financially. And we've got a lot of equity in a lot of our houses right now. So unemployment is something to watch. Construction unemployment is something to micro watch. Also, tariffs, which I'm not going to be an expert on that. There was so much volatility this year in our bond market that affects our interest rates. It was like a roller coaster. I almost told people what was happening and then it changed like hours later. So all that I can say is that the uncertainty in our economic market did affect our interest rates and they went up and down. They landed up yesterday, I believe. They could go down, especially if our economy permanently goes into a recession. That could be a reason why interest rates go down. So we will see. And if interest rates go down, that could actually cause all of the buyers that have not been buying the last couple of years to get off the fence and buy. So it could cause an increase in price. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of things that could happen that will either increase the value of properties in Boise area or decrease. And there's just too many things happening to know. I know the same thing's true though. When you need to buy a house, it's a good time to buy, as long as you own it for a long time and you can afford it. And when you need to sell a house, it's a good time to sell, as long as it leads you to the right next step. And markets go up and down. They always do. And they always go up again, even in the worst market of all time, which we won't see again, hopefully. I highly, highly doubt we'll see anything like the Great Recession because we have nothing like the Great Recession happening right now. But even at that time, we were at the peak in 2007 and we went down, down, down. We got back to where we were in 2017. And I bought a house in 2007 for $300,000, which is a lot for me because I was in my 20s back then. And it went down to 150 and it got up to 300 and today it's worth 600 something and I get 28.50 in rent. It's awesome. It's one of the best investments I ever made that looked like one of the worst investments I ever made. So let me show you some charts and graphs. Okay, Ada County. Here's where I'm saying we have more inventory. Yay for the buyers. 856 houses for sale. This same time last year, 667. So almost 200 more houses for sale. That's great. There's a little bit more pending. Nope, it's about the same. It's like tracks one house off. A few more sales, but not anything to talk about except for the 200 increase. That's good. We're at 1.8 months inventory. Average price is 610. So it's kind of flattening out, but markets don't flatten. They go up or down. And then it's a buyer's market over 1.5 million. It's a seller's market under 1.5 million in Ada County. If you want to see your price range in your area that you want to buy or sell, message me. I'll get you the document for like Northeast Boise, Southeast Boise, Northwest Meridian, whatever you need. Canyon County, 389 houses for sale. This time last year, 320. So a little bit, significant, but not as significant as Ada County. 292 under contract, 238. So that's up too. So they both kind of a little bit more for sale, a little bit more pending. So that's about like equal, where we saw that really great gap for buyers in Ada County. That's interesting. So we'll watch that, see if there's another change that happens next month. 438 is the average price. 1.9 months inventory. They're in a seller's market up to $1 million, and then definitely a buyer's market over $1 million. So really good thing to do is just to have a trusted realtor. I would love to be your trusted realtor, to look at your goals and look at what you have. What are your opportunities and how can we make something happen? What I've noticed is this week, exactly this week, because of the uncertainty in the economy, I've had less showings and less offers. Fear pauses market sometimes. So if you're a buyer, I know that sounds weird. Maybe think about buying when no one else is buying. We're coming up on Memorial Day weekend. That's a great weekend to buy a house because everyone goes camping. Or when there's some uncertainty, if you want to own the house for a long time and you can afford it and you have a good job. Real estate is like having a piggy bank. You're taking money in one hand and putting into a hard asset that eventually appreciates. It's an investment in that way. It's a liability when it's your own home, but it's like a forced savings account. And I bought my first house when I was 20, and I had a lot of privilege and opportunity where my parents, co-signed when I was in college. The average home buyer now is 38. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that I'm not going to unpack here, but my passion is in helping build wealth. And that forced savings account at least gives someone a hard asset to own for a long time. We got to make sure they can afford it, of course. And if we hope that their income can go up, or they can use some dual income and buy a little place in the Boise Bench or whatever they can do to make it work. It's not going to be a perfect house, but it can give them that start on their wealth journey. So really great connection would be a young person that you care about. Thanks for watching. Message me at 208-869-2444 if you have questions, you want more information.